Where can you find networking advice and guidance? Usually you just have to ask for it. I'm Greg. I'm the Introverted Networker, and I want to share some clips of a conversation I had this week with a person I just met. His name is Chris Holly, and Chris reached out to me via LinkedIn. He had seen some of my information that I had posted about networking and reached out and just said, "Hey, I'm interested in becoming a better networker. What advice do you have?" I gave him some advice. He followed it. And then we jumped on a call and we talked about what he was doing, what he was looking for. He's looking for a programming role in either healthcare or in aerospace or in the mortgage industry. So he's got a couple different industries he's looking for. He's got his target company list, and just a really great conversation with Chris. Learned a lot about him and some of the things that he's been doing, some of the things that have been working for him. And so I wanted to highlight the clips, those pieces of it, of the conversation that really focus on what he's doing to network and some of the things that's been working for him. So hopefully you can get some ideas that you can take away. We talked about how to reach out to recruiters, what's working for him. We talked about the target company list and why that's important. We also talked about what he can do to kind of follow up and reach out to more people and kind of move forward in his job search. So hope you enjoy the conversation. I certainly did, and maybe you'll get a couple nuggets of advice that you can act on yourself.
Cool. All right. So what's going on, man? We
Well,
talking jobs, talking search, talking networking. Like
well,
what you got going?
right now, first I wanted to say thank you, because, you're the first person that I reached out to. Like, you're a networking, like you specialize in networking
Mhm.
and helping people like myself, like introverts, like learn how to network. And just you taking my message and like actually responding and like being genuine,
Mhm.
like that was really cool. That was really, really cool because like I've never experienced that before. It's
Right.
usually like being so introverted, I just never gave that there was never I never opened up to like letting that happen.
Mhm.
And since then, it happened a couple other times too. For the times where it didn't work out, it's kind of like, it doesn't really affect me negatively like I tried, but
Right.
there were a couple that really were there. Like one, for example, I reached out to someone at Lockheed Martin.
Mhm.
He was a recruiter, and he was just posted like an aerospace like engineering like
Mhm.
position, and I'm super niche with whatever I do, like whatever syntax I'm learning. Like I might not know what it is like even during the interview, but I guarantee that if you give me like a week to learn it and figure it out, like I'll
Mhm.
probably like one of the more proficient people in that syntax. So I
Mhm.
was super confident when I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I'm interested in this position. I'm good at X, Y, and Z. Do you think that there'd be a place for me at Lockheed Martin or doing
Mhm.
something in that capacity?
Mhm.
And do you have any advice?" And he gave me the greatest advice.
Mhm.
Like, look at it this way: instead of like an engineer without your degree, because that's kind of what being an aerospace engineer really requires. It's like a hard line requirement:
Yep.
engineer equals degree. But he's like,
Mhm.
look for aerospace programming jobs,
Mm.
because that's where things get a little bit more like you have a
Yeah.
little bit more freedom. You can work with that a little bit better.
Okay.
Also told me like to tailor my resume to every single job posting specifically for
Yeah.
aerospace. Like in other markets, you can kind of get away with using a general resume,
Yeah.
but with aerospace specifically, you need to tailor your resume every single time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you for that because, like, I mean, I had really so far I've had wonderful rapport with yourself. I reached out to him a couple of times, just kind of say hi,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's just like I'm interested in like learning how to further network and just like make friends in the professional world.
Yeah.
So I opened up with, "Hi Daniel, I wanted to connect and ask your advice on breaking into aviation or aerospace software.
Mhm.
I've worked with niche platforms in complex industries where workflows and integrations are anything but simple, and
Mhm.
I enjoy digging into those systems and making them better. Often finding myself as one of the few people who
Mhm.
truly understands them."
Mhm.
So I said, "Well, I don't have direct experience in aerospace. I'd love to hear your thoughts on entry level roles with exploring or skills that
Mhm.
you value and someone looking to get started there. And thanks for your time." And yeah, he responded with like, he responded with a response that was twice as long as mine,
Yeah.
which
Cool.
was really cool. So yeah,
Think it's a good approach they had to like, hey, what advice do you have about getting into this, right? Because a lot of job seekers, especially with recruiters or other people, are like, hey, I need a job. Here's my resume. Can you help me out? And that's just so hard to help somebody out when they do that. right? It comes with such this expectation of like, if I don't connect them with a job, I'm not really helping them. But at the same time, like, I don't really know what they want. And I don't know what they're good at. I mean, you can give me your resume, but I could be like, I don't know. Like, if you had, I mean, and know your audience, right? I mean, if you had asked me that question, I'd be like, I have no idea. I've never been in aerospace, right? so, so, it's obviously, I think sometimes people try to like automate or like templatize this stuff, and they just like send the same thing to everybody, just hoping somebody will respond. And it just, people are like, I can't do anything with that. They just don't respond. So, I think you got to be really, you got to do more than one person. You got to do more than one outreach. There's a certain amount of numbers you got to do, but at the same time, it's not like just spam it out to hundreds of people, right? You got to personalize it a little bit and like help people go, okay, well, that's something I can answer that question. That's an easy answer for me. And then I feel good because I helped Chris with whatever he's working on, and, maybe he'll break into this, maybe not in this role, but he'll find a role somewhere else. So that's cool. That's cool. So,
Right.
yeah. But what else you been doing from a networking perspective?
From a networking perspective, not much, not much.
Mhm.
I'm very introverted. Actually, when I saw your post on the top company list, and I was like, oh, like this is why you had me create this list. Like, and I read your
Yeah.
article, I was like,
Yeah.
this is really cool that I did this. Like, I'm
Right.
on the right track.
Mhm.
You're helping me even before I even read the article, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah,
That.
as far as the networking part goes, there was a guy I met at the gym. He works for Boeing, and he's actually an engineer. And I kind of was thinking, like, this is why this is important, because, like, I just met this guy at a gym, like lifting weights, like we had that
Mhm.
common thing, like together. We were just talking about
Yeah.
syntax and what he does, and I was like, it would be interesting in a world where I could connect him with David at Lockheed Martin. He's at Boeing right now. What he does probably really would apply to what I was applying for, or what I was like thinking I could apply for.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was thinking, like, I want to be able to like be like a black belt at networking and like be able to connect with those people and help. They're just, even though it wouldn't benefit me like directly, like, I mean, there is that self satisfaction of like, hey, I made a friend and I helped that friend out. So yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and that's one of the things I say. I'll tell people all the time, when you're networking, you start networking, find a way to kind of make it who you are, right? And make it something that you're always doing. Not like because I'm always looking for a job, but because you can connect people like that, especially after you get a job and you're like, I don't really need anything. All you're doing is helping other people. That tends to then open up other opportunities, right? So if somebody's like, hey, we need somebody to come present at this conference, or we need somebody who's the subject matter expert on this, or, you know, who do you know? And sometimes you're like, that's me, right? And so like in other parts of your life, it can come in too, just because people are like, oh, I know this guy, he knows a lot of people. And then you get into a point where, at some point in your career, and I don't know if you want to do this, but I mean, for me, I'm now doing my own consulting, and so all my clients are networking based, right? They're all people that I know from a networking perspective. um, but people will come to me and be like, hey, I need help with this project. I'm like, it's not really me, it's somebody else. And I send somebody their way, and they're like, that's awesome, great, thanks for helping me. Of course, if they need something I do, they're going to come back to me again. And sometimes, like, you get to a point where if you're doing consulting work and you're referring people, like, they'll pay you like a referral fee to get them the work, right? And so that's not the reason to do it, but again, those are like the side benefits and things that come up over your life as you kind of build I call it a networking habit. But I mean, if it's something you're always thinking about doing, if you're always trying to connect people, and again, you said you're pretty introverted. I'm introverted too. It doesn't mean I don't like people, right? And so I like people, but I like them in my own controlled space where I'm kind of comfortable, and where I don't have to kind of go out and find them, right? So I like having conversations with people. I like hearing what people are doing. I like trying to help them. Occasionally they'll help me out, and that feels good, right? That's how I kind of I think of it more less about networking and more of like growing your own community, like your personal professional community, right? Like it's personal to you because it's who you want to have in it. It's professional because it's not like you're not finding friends. I mean, you might, but I mean, it's not really like people are going to hang out with on the weekend, but still people you like to talk to, you can learn from. That's the other great thing is if you're connecting after you get in your new role with people who are maybe a little bit farther along in their role, they're great people to like ask for help. Like, hey, have you solved this problem? Right. And if they know you and, you know, it's not company secrets and proprietary information, they're gonna be like, yeah, do this, do this, do this. And I mean, I know you can get online and go on forums and you can get on Chat GPT and you can do all that stuff now. But it is kind of nice to talk to people who are like, oh yeah, I've tried that. This works better. You should try this, or, you know, that kind of stuff. That's a good reason to continue to connect as well, just because then you're plugged in, you know what's going on. And like over your career, that opportunities will start to appear. People will like, you know, keep presenting you with stuff. And then you're like, okay, I'm not worried about getting laid off again. Cause I know like if I got laid off, I could go work for this person or this person, you know? So it's like, it's helpful. I think it's great that you did the target company list. I can't tell you how many people never do that. Like I will like similar to like, so you kind of reached out to me and you're like, hey, you know, following your stuff, you know, what kind of advice do you have? Right.
Right.
And I'll get that question a lot. And so my standard sort of, I think you read my, I don't know which post you read, but like my standard answer is send me your target company list. Right. And that's, it's easy for me to say that because it's good advice. It's advice I've used in the past. It's not just like, you know, hey, whatever, go away. But I'll tell people that because it's almost a bit of a test for me because I'll like 9 out of 10 times I say that to people and like nobody responds. Like they never send me their list. Right. And so I don't know what they wanted to hear, but like that's like one of my best pieces of advice I can give is create that target company list. And then you send it back. So I'm like, okay, obviously this person's serious, right? They do want to, you know, they do want to connect. They do get it. So, I mean, you're like, thanks for responding and helping me out. But again, like I'm like, most people don't, right? So the fact that you're kind of already doing this is helpful. It's going to help you out and kind of set you apart on that. So you come across him and you've asked for advice and he gives you advice, right? That's great. And some of that advice, I don't know if you can take any of that advice and do anything with it right away or if it takes a long time, but if there's anything you can do in the, you know, next few weeks that's actionable that he told you, you know, it's a good thing to say, to go back to him and be like, hey, Daniel, you told me to do XYZ. This is what I did. Here was the outcome. I just wanted to come back and let you know, that was really helpful, or, you know, I didn't maybe get the same results, but here's what happened. Because that gives you another reason to check in with him. So you're not just like, hey, checking in again. It's like, hey, I took your advice. I want it. So I think your approach by asking for advice was great. You found somebody who's willing to give you advice. Try to take some of it if you can. Again, if he was like, go get this degree or this certification, maybe that's not timely. But if you can, you know, do some of it and come back and tell him how it went, and especially if it was successful. I think the other key thing is, you know, you can say, hey, this has been such a great conversation. Is there anybody else you know that's sort of like, you know, in the same area or might have some other good, you know, advice for me or somebody I should meet that might be beneficial, you know, to meet. And so he might have somebody else that he's like, hey, yeah, let me introduce you to this person. Because like people are generally like to be around people that are kind of like them. And so like Daniel's not going to have a lot of friends that he talks to or that he would introduce you to that are going to just totally ghost you. Right. Like he's not going to introduce you to somebody, especially if you go try some of this stuff and show that you're trying to do the work and stuff like that. He's going to be like, oh, this Chris guy that I gave, you know, advice to, sort of like when I told you to do the target company list. Like most people don't do that. So if you come back and you're like, I tried your advice and here's what happened and I got these results, he's gonna be like, this guy's serious. He's not just somebody who's coming along and just trying to kind of take up my time and hopefully I give him a job. He's somebody who's going to go do the work and he's going to show up and he's going to show me what he can do. So yeah, I feel comfortable introducing him to somebody that I know, and then that might be another connection, right? So like on the one-on-one thing, you're trying to get to a point where the person's like, I feel confident like introducing this person to somebody I know. Like just in this conversation that you and I have had in the last hour, it makes me more confident to say to some of those people I'm talking about, hey, I met Chris. I talked to Chris. I got to know Chris. Chris is looking to do these kind of things. I think he's just looking for some guidance and advice. If you've got any, can I connect you electronically? And then you guys can go from there.
That's
Right.
so cool.
And so that doesn't always work, but more often than not, that works better than just like cold outreach and, cold calls, or like, it tends to, but you got to do the stuff, right? I mean, and you obviously are, because again, you did the list. I don't know what Daniel recommended, but you sound like you're a guy who goes out and solves the problem, right? You told me all these stories and stuff.
This is going to go really, really far for me. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, let me know if you have questions or anything.
all right, we'll do. All right. Thanks, Greg.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
The record.
I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something useful out of that. As you can see, if people reach out to me and they ask for advice, I'm always going to help them, especially when it comes to networking. There's a million ways that I can help people. I've got a book, I've got a newsletter, I've got courses, I've got a new membership community where we're getting together to work together to help each other become more confident networkers. If you're interested in any of that, the links to those things will be in the comments of this video or in the newsletter this week. So, reach out. If you're struggling, I'm here to help. If you ask for help, I'm probably going to give you some advice. Go out and do it. And if you do those things, you're going to become a better, more confident networker. So have a great week. Go out, meet some interesting people. And remember, always be connecting.